Hello and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about the homeschooling process because I know that a lot of parents are very intimidated by the thought of homeschooling because that means you got to learn that new math that they were not doing when we were in school, and you got to be able to stay on top of everything and be super organized and flexible and try to do your work while teaching them at the same time. It is not as complicated as you might think. So I'm going to share with you my homeschool experience. So I did homeschool a seventh grader. First of all, I chose to homeschool because I went to my daughter's school one day and I could not believe what I observed. It was a zoo. There were students in the hallways. The hallways was packed of students throwing stuff, yelling, running up and down, just doing all kind of stuff during a class period. This was not during like class changes. This was during a class period, and all these students were in the hallway. Then I walk into the office, and there was a little girl sitting in the office polishing her nails. I was done. My daughter had been telling me things for the whole 5 weeks that she had been at that school. And so I came up there and observed it for myself and was like, yeah, this a lot. Go clean your locker out. We going home. You ain't coming back here. So took my baby home and the journey began. So first of all, the right way to start a homeschool process is to notify the school 2 weeks in advance. In the state of Maryland, I'm not sure how it is everywhere, but in the state of Maryland, the rule is to give the school 2 weeks notice that you intend to homeschool, and then they can unenroll your child and you can start your process. So in my county, I'm not sure if it's the whole state, but I'm pretty certain that it is because it's all Maryland State Department of Education. So I would imagine it's done the same way or in a very similar way. They connected me with a educational professional who was working in the school system at that time, and her responsibility was to monitor my homeschool case. So basically what she did was she met with me twice a year to look at my portfolio. The portfolio was the work that my child had done in all the different subject areas. So that was pretty much what she did. She was looking for what they did in music, in PE, in health, language arts, math, social studies, all of that. So in my county, I'm assuming in the state of Maryland as well, you have the freedom as a homeschool parent to choose the curriculum that you would like to use for your child. So I chose 2 different curriculums because I like them both for different reasons. And we use pieces from both. And actually I had 3 because health was not included in either one. So I had to get a separate health curriculum. Not a big deal though, because the health curriculum was actually free. And then one of the other ones that I was using was like maybe $20 a month. And then the other one, they were asking for just donations. I think I donated $10 a month. So for about $30, I had access to all the curriculum that I needed. Oh, and then I also had a little art curriculum where my daughter was learning to draw. And I believe that was like $5 a week. So let's say maybe not $30, maybe $50 a month gave me everything I needed. Now, the art curriculum was not necessary to have, and having 2 curriculums for the main subjects was also not necessary to have. So you could homeschool for about $20 a month or that little donation I was making of $10 a month. I just chose to have all these other add-ons because it was better for what we needed and what we wanted, and I was able to do it. So you don't have to do it that way. Then there are also other curriculum that is more expensive. It just depends on what you want and how you plan to do homeschooling. So that's that. Um, how I did curriculum, it's not that difficult. So I had my daughter set up with the online programs. She did a lot of her work online, but I also took some of the lessons that I wanted to teach her and I figured out ways to incorporate outside activities in a way that would teach those lessons. So we went to a bunch of different places like the Science Center. We went to community gardens. We went to the zoo. We went to the nature centers. We did a lot of different things like that. We did not sit in the house all day just doing work on the computer. We did a lot of things outside. We even went to the movies. So it's like, okay, write a paper about this movie. So I just chose activities that she enjoyed that would also help her with her lessons or that would also provide a learning opportunity for her. So I did the curriculum that way. It was very free, very whatever you want to do as a parent, as long as you can show a portfolio twice a year that shows all subject areas and what you did in those subject areas. She needed music, and that was simple. I just said, we played the drums today. We talked about different music genre and put music in categories today. I just, whatever, this is music. PE, she rode her bike today. We went for a walk today. We played volleyball today. We went skating today. That's PE. And that was good enough. We danced today and it was fine. Art, like I said, she was learning to draw. Health, I had a whole health curriculum. It was really, however I planned it, it was acceptable as long as I could show the work in all the subject areas. That's your main concern, is having a sample in a portfolio of what she did. Now, because I had online curriculum, I was able to show like grades because the online curriculum, she did work that was graded. So I could show her grades, but this lady was not all that interested in grades. It wasn't like a major focus. So it doesn't have to be that. I showed her posters that we created about different things. Like I had my daughter to do a whole poster about composting. And so we showed how she put together the whole project. So the poster was a representation of the project that we did. So all those types of things like that. So everything was made to be fun and interesting and hands-on. Not a lot of just sitting and doing stuff that way. So you can do it. Like, it's not that difficult. The other thing is, I am not personally good in math. That is not my strength. That is an area that needs improvement. I can count my money. But I can't do a whole lot else in math. So I hired a math teacher for my daughter. So what I did was, my daughter already had a tutor. And I paid the tutor like $25 an hour. And she worked with my daughter twice a week. So I paid $50 a week for my daughter's math tutor. You can find a tutor for less than $25 an hour. You can find one for maybe $15 or $20 an hour, or somebody you can work out a deal with for the whole month and pay less, because I realized that paying $50 a week is, $200 a month. That could be a big expense for some people. Maybe you could find a family friend that can explain some math concepts to your child, or whatever subject you're not that good in. Maybe you can find a YouTube presentation that explains it better than you can. Maybe you can look at the YouTube yourself and you can learn how to do it and then be able to break it down and show your child. So there are ways there are ways to get around areas where you feel like you don't have the ability to teach, because I knew that if I taught her math, I would be doing her a disservice. So I got someone else to do it. You may not have to do that. Your child might have an older sibling who already did this math last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and they know how to do it. You could have a little cousin who's great in math. It's so many ways to work around these things and still make sure your child gets what they need. But you can hire help. You can go on YouTube. Most of the curriculum have like videos that show you how to do it and how to break it down. They have resources and all of that. You can go to libraries and look and see if they have available resources. You can go to the Maryland State Department of Education website or wherever you live and see if they have resources, because they're probably free tutors available if you just look and seek the information. So I will say that if you have it on your heart to homeschool your baby, do your research, look into everything, develop your plan, get all your ducks in a row, and just jump. Just do it, because it's not that difficult. It is not that difficult. And if you are relatively organized, you can homeschool and still manage the rest of your life. Relatively organized, you can manage it. The beautiful thing about it is homeschooling is really on your schedule. If you want to say, I'm going to homeschool on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, you can. If you want to say, I'm going to homeschool on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you can. If you want to say, I'll homeschool on different days every week, you can. I do suggest you come up with some kind of routine, though, so that it's something that you can make predictable for yourself and for your child. So it's not just super willy-nilly and nobody's taking it seriously. Have some kind of stability to it, but you have all the freedom to do it how you choose. So it's doable. Like if you have to go into work on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, homeschool on Monday and Friday and over the weekend. Homeschool can be 4 days. It doesn't have to be 5. Or if you get home from work at 1 o'clock, school can start at 1 o'clock and end at 5. If you're home in the mornings, homeschool could be 9 to 12. It's up to you, as long as you know that you're not shortchanging your child, that you're actually giving them a quality education. It is up to you. If you want to go to the Bahamas, you can go to Bahamas and still homeschool. Take them babies with you, do the lessons in Bahamas. If you want to go spend the week at your grandma's house, homeschool is wherever you are. So it allows a lot of flexibility and freedom. And then it also eliminates all the junk that you have to deal with in school. So my kids are back in school. Because I found them a charter school where they have middle school, elementary and middle school, and it's just a whole different setting and different environment. And it is it's a project-based school that focuses on environmental and art. So it's a different kind of school and they enjoy it, but there's still parts of it that I just don't like. Like the other kids are very grown and sassy and into things that my children are not into, and my kids are picking up things from them. So even though it's a good school, I am considering homeschooling again, and this time homeschooling straight through graduation from high school, because it's just a lot. It's just a lot going on in schools right now. So homeschooling is always an option that's on the table for me. I enjoyed doing it when I did it. Put them back in school to try to give them an opportunity to try school again, to make sure that, homeschool was the best thing for them. Leaning towards it again. So I don't know which way we're going to go for next school year. I have all summer to figure it out. But if you feel led to be a homeschool parent, I highly recommend homeschool. So stay tuned for more videos on my homeschool experience. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.